JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 19th of October 2022. So yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFDbrokers.com website, which you can always check out for more information about us. And now let's jump into the charts, guys. So the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225. Look at this. We pushed through this barrier, the one that I kept on talking about, the 27,180, and we've traveled all the way to the 100-day EMA, surpassed it a little bit, by a little bit, and kind of ended up in between the two EMAs here. So I would say mission kind of partially accomplished. Because why? Because I said before that, look, ideally I'm aiming for this downside line, but as I said, if I'll see a clear breakthrough this barrier, that's my next target right here, and we kind of reached it. So this area around these two EMAs, the 100 and the 200-day EMA. Now in order for me to go higher, well, it's going to be a straightforward approach here. I'm going to wait until we see a nice good push above the 27,400 level, somewhere around here, because at the same time we might see a push above the 200-day EMA. Now looking at this, like I said, let's see how all this is going to play out, but for now everything's looking quite positive, I would say, unless we start falling back down here. Now I need to get rid of this downside line, no longer needed, and if we, let's put it this way, if we fall somewhere back below this little hurdle, this 27,180, which now can act as a support level, if we fall below it, then yes, I will consider a move towards this upside line here, taken from the low of the 3rd of October. So keep that in mind. Now Shanghai Composite. So yeah, beautiful rejection here from this area, from that 3,100 level, and I talked about this and I said that I need to see a clear push through it now in order to go higher. Well, we are now struggling still with that area. Instead, we're seeing a drift back down, but as I said before, in order for me to consider maybe a move lower, I would like to see a drop below this 2,987 level right here, which marks the inside swing high of the 11th of October. Now, I get it, this area could be interesting too. This area starting from the 3036 level, yes, but let's be very careful here, because again, it might drift a little bit lower. Maybe it could find support somewhere around here, create a lower high, and a higher low. There we go. And so it can create a higher low and then reverse back to the upside. So yeah, again, that's the reason why I have this scenario preferred for the downside. So I do understand we could be missing out on a bit of territory, but I rather be a little bit safer. ASX 200. So great move above this downside line. Okay, good news. We pushed above the 6,750 territory, broke the downside line, and everything kind of is pointing more towards the upside. I will have my arrow like this, but I'll mention it this way, that initially, actually, I think I have this level here, the 6,858, but I think we need to include another little level right here, because I think this is where it could play out very interestingly. So yeah, this is the level, the 6,822. In a way, I'm gonna aim for that area, as because it also may coincide with the 100-day EMA, so it might push a little bit higher, find some resistance around here, and then we'll just have to take it from there. Of course, don't get me wrong, some of you are maybe looking at this level right here. True, yes, could be the case here, could be a good target to keep an eye on, but I'm looking at this level just out of that reason that it's closer to the 100-day EMA, and yeah, if we approach this, if we clear it, okay, we'll go higher. My next target is the 6,858, but if we clear that one, the next target is the 200-day EMA. Pretty straightforward here, but yeah, like I said, at the moment I am just gonna go slowly on this. Let me actually put the arrow here. So yeah, it's a small one, but hey, you know, it's the target that matters. So anyway, yeah, the German index, DAX, guys. Looking at this picture here, we had a beautiful move. Look, I talked about this, and I told you from the beginning of this week, I said that if we push through this barrier, this 12,670 territory, my next target is the 12,936, 37, approximately around here. Mission accomplished. Team, we're heading home. Well, not really, because we saw a bit of a decline here, and now what's going to be interesting to see right now is how we're going to open up here. Because look, as long as we stay above this area here, I will continue aiming higher, and maybe this time towards that 100-day EMA, somewhere around here. I do have this downside line, of course, but that's for a little later. Let's go slowly on this. For now, my problem here is that we have formed, just bear with me one moment, yeah, so basically my problem here is that we might see a bit of a retracement. The cash index right now is declining, so we're currently sitting at around 12,840. But actually, I think that, yeah, that's sorry, that's above yesterday's close, but that's still fine. So we're still kind of around here somewhere. Yesterday we formed here a shooting star, so a potential reversal signal. Now, again, this doesn't mean that it might, you know, reverse straight away. No, it might take some time. For example, if it forms something like that, it might take a few days before, let's say, we could see, you know, some sort of a reversal or something like that. Because look, another thing could happen as well is that it sometimes makes this shooting star, then starts, you know, jumping around somewhere here, goes for a higher high. Actually, this is where I'm aiming for that, you know, 100-day EMA, goes for a higher high, finds some resistance around here, and then reverses. So it's kind of a, if we're looking at the daily chart, then it might, like I said, take some time, but it could be as a first signal for a reversal. So I'm not talking about like a huge reversal here, no, but I'm saying that maybe, you know, a drift back to the downside here could be possible later on. But at the moment, let's consider this as let's say still the upside scenario, as long as we stay above this 12,670 territory right here. If we start falling below it, I will consider a retracement here to the downside. I don't at the moment I don't have a specific target here. It depends on how we're going to play out, but how this is going to play out. But yeah, and that, like I said, that's what I'm going to keep an eye on. Now, NASDAQ 100, beautiful. Beautiful, guys. I mean, because look, I mean, perfect hit of the upper side of the falling channel, and then we declined. So yeah, I mean, now what's next? Basically, we are still keeping an eye on the upper side of the falling channel. If we clear it, then yes, I'll go to the upside. And if we remain below the upper side of the falling channel, then certainly there is still potential for this one to move lower. However, at this point I would actually prefer to see a move back below the psychological 11,000 mark, or this 10,967 zone, somewhere around here. If we do drop below this, then yes, I will go to the downside. We do have this level a little bit higher, the 11,153 zone. I mean, you can keep an eye on that one if you wish, but I would prefer, like I said, this hurdle right here. I would prefer this 10,967, or just in general that 11,000 mark, and then we could go lower towards the 10,440 territory. But again, like I said, we are very close to this upper side of the falling channel. Let's see if we can break that. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now this one's also interesting. We had a push through this yesterday. We climbed above this barrier, above this 30,454, and in a way, I'm kind of, although we declined back down, we did pierce through this barrier again to the downside, but yeah, we kind of managed to remain above this barrier, above this potential upper side of the range here. So if we continue to do so, then I will continue aiming to the upside. My next target here will be well, ideally the 31,277, but I think, let me just grab this. I think we could also keep an eye on this little hurdle, this 31,000 mark, just in general. Well, near the 31,026 zone, 27. But hey, let's round it up here, and the 31,000 could be a nice target. Let's see if we can reach that. That would be quite interesting. The cash index is currently sitting at around 30,630, so we are above yesterday's close. We're still above this hurdle. So yeah, in a way, everything's kind of everything could work out nicely. But like I said, my first target right now will be that psychological 31,000. If we remain above this 30,454 territory right there. Now, DXY, the dollar index, very quickly on that one. So managed to rebound from this upside line. So yeah, yesterday we tested the 21-day EMA. Today we are kind of rebounding from this area. So the question here is, of course, can we go lower, or can we remove, break out here to the upside? Well, this is the point where basically you will have to wait, or we will all have to wait, because again, we are near this upside line, which we have tested it already 3 times. We came here for the 4th time. Let's see if we can break that. If we can, we could go nicely here to the downside. But if it fails, then of course, if you're, we could go higher. But for that, we need to see a break of this downside line, because all this area here, I'm gonna just observe that. It's gonna be a little bit on the, I'm gonna be on the neutral side. So yeah, I don't want to rush into anything. And as I said yesterday to you guys, if you were watching my video, that look, if we break this upside line, my next target is only near this 110 territory, approximately around here. Because I want to see if we're not going to end up forming something of a descending triangle or something like that. But that's for a little bit later. Now, gold. Gold is stuck still in this little range. I talked about this, but this is where it's going to be quite interesting to see what's going to happen further, because, look, we are near this key support zone, the 1642 level. I talked about this. If we clear that, then I'll go lower. If we push through the 1660 territory, I'll go to the upside, but only up until here where my arrows are drawn. So for the downside, I'm aiming for the 1621 or 1622, maybe 1615. Again, depending on the trading activity, but yeah, the first, like I said, 1622. If we clear the 1642, and another thing, look, I mean, if you want to apply like the logic of casinos, basically here, like red and black, I'm not talking about up and down. I'm actually talking about the length of the candle, the body of the daily candle here. So for example, we had some short ones recently in the past 2 days. We had some short ones. Maybe today could be followed by a longer one. Again, we do have some data coming out today. I'll jump into the few pairs right now where I'm going to cover some UK data as well. So yeah, but at the moment, like I said, let's see how this is going to play out. I'm not saying that this is going to be bearish or bullish. At the moment, I am waiting. I'm playing the waiting game, so in order to kind of be a little bit more careful, just because in a way, if let's say the dollar weakens, then we might see gold actually pushing to the upside here. So yeah, this move lower here right now could be just a tease for the sellers, and to attract more of them, and then it could reverse sharply to the upside and could take out a lot of traders. Now then, jumping into the WTI oil very quickly here. So let's see if this is gonna play out nicely here. So first of all, it's already playing out nicely, because what I was saying before that, and if you remember from my previous videos, if we fall below the 85.58 territory, my next target is this whole highlighted zone, because I wasn't clear. I didn't know really exactly which level to choose here, so that's why I've just highlighted the territory. And to be honest, the market heard my prayers and it just kind of tested them all. Yeah, it pierced through all of them and reversed back to the upside and reversed back above all of them as well. Now that makes it even more interesting. So again, I would say my mission accomplished, because yes, I had my arrow like this, but this is my ideal scenario. But my first targets were these levels here, well, which we managed to reach. So now then, in a way, let's see what's going to happen further. At the moment, I would say if you're looking for some further declines, well, wait for a drop below. Now, I'm not going to say all these levels. I'm going to say actually the last one here, the 82.54 area, approximately around here. If we drop below this, could attract more sellers into the game, and we could go further south towards that 79.45 level for the upside. Now, previously I talked about this area right here, the area around that 90 level. Still good level, don't get me wrong, still a good level, but given that we have drifted a little bit more to the downside, that's why I'm gonna stick to this little downside line taken from the high of the 10th of October. So if you want to go to the upside, this is the point where we can actually start looking at the 21-day EMA. And if we do push above that 85.58 territory and the 21-day EMA, then, well, we could attract more buyers here, and then of course we'll go from there. Now, like I said, I'm keeping an eye on this downside line for the upside, together with the 21-day EMA. Ethereum, I mean, the crypto world in general, everything's boring here in the crypto world, so we're just kind of flat here, and we're still trading within this falling channel. And actually, let me adjust this a little bit. I think I'm going to draw a proper falling channel. So yep, let me just get rid of this. Where's that falling channel? I always miss. There we go. Parallel channel. So this is what I'm going to draw here. I think this is going to be a little bit more interesting and accurate. There we go. So at the moment, like I said, yes, we are drifting nicely to the downside within a falling channel. Some of these arrows have to go away. I think maybe actually I'm going to reuse them here just to be a little bit more on the safe side. Let me just draw this way here. Now, in terms of the upside, I think that it's time just to kind of leave these smaller levels around here. Just kind of, they're not really working out, and just kind of causing more frustration instead. So I would say if you're looking for some higher levels, wait for a break of this upper side of the falling channel. If we clear that, my next target is going to be the 200-day EMA, as you can see by this arrow drawn here. If we're looking for some downside, a drop below the 12.19 zone, somewhere around here, might do the trick for a few more sellers, because at the same time we could go, and because then we could go towards the lower side of the falling channel. Simple as that. AUDNZD, guys, very quickly on this one. So AUDNZD is continuing to slide. Look, my target here kind of has been met, and already, like, you know, it had made the twice of the distance here to the downside. So in a way, everything's still going lower, and to be honest, I'm going to continue moving lower, although we had already quite a decent move here. But I'm going to continue aiming lower, and I'm going to aim for this 200-day EMA, which is roughly around here, near this area, it's marked kind of by the low of the 2nd of August here, and that's near the 1.1008, approximately around here. But of course we can keep an eye on that psychological 110 zone. So yeah, in a way, for now, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna aim for this. As long as we stay below the 100-day EMA, we might see a little retracement at some point, don't get me wrong, but something like this could happen here. But overall, I'm still aiming for that 200-day EMA. For the upside, I would like to see a push above the this 100-day EMA in order to go just at least towards this downside line initially, and then yeah, we could go from there. AUDUSD. So yeah, looking at the picture here, we can see that we have a downside line which I managed to test. That's great. Okay, I mean, so far the idea is working out. I talked about this, if you remember, and I spoke about this downside line. I said that if we reverse back above the 0.6254 territory, my next target is this downside line, and if it holds, another decline here could be possible. So yeah, for now I'm keeping an eye on that idea. And in terms of the upside, now previously I talked about the 0.6363 territory, but I think we can draw, we can mark this area a little bit lower, the 0.6347, and if we clear that at the same time, we will be placed above the downside line here, and more buyers could join in. USDJPY. So this one's very interesting still, because look, I mean, it's still grinding higher slowly, and it's very kind of difficult to let's say find a good. I know that you're itching for a sell here, and me too, to be honest. Unless you're buying and still holding this, then congratulations to you. At this point, I wouldn't buy, because again, it has already potential to maybe reverse to the downside. But again, maybe a little bit more upside here could be possible. But at the moment, I am just kind of struggling here to find a good area for resistance where, you know, we could go in. But of course, if it starts, you know, falling below yesterday's low straight away, then yes, that's where it could be opening the door towards some lower levels. But at the moment, there is still potential for the upside. USDCAD, guys. So beautiful retracement, beautiful hold up near this hurdle here, this 1.37 territory. I'm not talking about these two levels. I mean, these just kind of are good potential areas of support, and they did kind of do the job. They were tested, but in general, the area that I'm watching here is just around that 1.37 mark. So if we fall below the 1.37 mark again, then I'll go to the downside. My next target is the 21-day EMA, and then if that gets cleared, I'll go further south. At the moment, we can get rid of these lines here, no longer needed. So if you're looking for some higher levels on this, well, I would say I am very careful, because again, with the higher levels, it's not as great as I would like it to be. So maybe for the upside, I could actually keep an eye on the same level, this 1.3833. I talked about that level before, and this area, if we clear it again, then maybe this could open the door towards some higher levels. But again, I'm not really on this one, I'm not really sure. So with the upside, I'm just kind of very careful. The downside scenario for me is a little bit more appealing. However, we will keep an eye on today's data from Canada. We do have some CPI numbers coming out from there, so that could be quite interesting. So don't be surprised, if you see later on in the day before the U.S. opening, before like an hour before the U.S. Open bell, we see some volatility here in this pair. So that means that the CPIs, the Canadian CPIs, have come out. So we could see a bit of nice movement here in the CAD pairs. Also, something to keep an eye on for today is US dollar against the South African rand. Now, I talked about this pair before, and I said to you, look, if we clear this barrier, I'll go higher towards the upper side of the rising channel. We went there, and we didn't really reach the bigger one, but to be honest, that's fine. Okay, that's part of trading. So we reached almost reached the upper side of the smaller one, and that's a good result. So we'll take that, and it reversed back to the downside. It fell back below this hurdle, meaning that there's some weakness kicking in here. Now, if you're looking for some lower levels, guys, certainly this is pretty straightforward. Wait for violation of the lower side of the smaller rising channel here, and maybe also for that extra confirmation, you could keep an eye on this 17.95 level, because at the same time, on a break of that area, we could see a drop below the 21-day EMA, and more sellers could join in here and then drag this one maybe a little bit lower. Now, GBPUSD. So, okay, not much movement, to be honest. We got the UK CPI numbers, the core and the headline ones. So, yeah, the core year-on-year CPI came out at 6.5 against the previous 6.3. Expected was 6.4. So, okay, that's a little increase. The headline CPI year-on-year. Basically, the year-on-year and the month-on-month headline CPIs came out just by 1/10% higher. Both the numbers came out 10% of 1/10%. There we go, higher than the forecast. So the month-on-month figure was expected at 0.4. It came out at 0.5. The year-on-year it was expected at 10. It came out 10.1. So not a huge kind of move here in a way. So yeah, it kind of just pushed a little bit higher the CPI numbers. Now, in terms of GBPUSD, at the moment, like I said, we are just being very careful here. As I said before, I need to see a drop below this area in order to go a little bit to the downside here, below this. If we drop below this upside line, drop below this 1.1240 zone, could attract more sellers into the game here. And if you're looking for some higher levels, then a push above the 1.1496 level right here could attract more buyers. So let's see how this is going to play out. But again, at the moment, I am just keeping an eye on this. And if we clear this upper side of the this potential ascending triangle, again, I'm not saying that this is a potential one, because we don't really, it's not really a picture perfect one. So I would rather just stick to this level, the 1.1496, and then we'll go from there. Now, GBPJPY very quickly as well. I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, but what's interesting here, we've cleared the area here, this key resistance zone. Let me probably just mark it for future reference. So yeah, this is the one basically. So this whole area was a good one to watch. We cleared it, and we're now kind of testing it from above. Now, again, we could see the pair bouncing around here. I don't really have, like I said, like a clear level, and that's why for me, for example, the downside scenario could come in somewhere from around here. Basically, and then we could go a little bit lower, so from this 165.72, that's the high of the 5th of October. If we fall back below it, then yes, this could attract more sellers, because at the same time we could see a drop below this steep upside line here, right there. So the steep upside line, if we clear it, then yes, we'll go to the downside. Now in terms of the upside, as I said, as long as it remains maybe above this highlighted zone, this whole area, I'll go higher. But if you're looking for something a little bit more reassuring, maybe just keep an eye on the recent high, the current highest point of October, near the 170.10 level. So a nice good clear move above it may attract more buyers into the game. EURCAD, very quickly on that one, I talked about this recently, and I said that, look, keep your eyes on this potential range idea, and the moment we are testing this this area, this 1.3570, if we clear it, then yeah, I'll go more to the upside. And if we then we go, then my next target is the 1.3715, or even maybe this this area right here near the 1.3808. If we clear it, if we clear this 1.3715, I'll go for that 1.3808. But at the moment, what we need to clear here is this. Need to see how this is going to play out near this level. Of course, you keep an eye on today's data as well, because you know, in Europe, today we're receiving the CPI numbers. So basically we have the European CPIs and the Canadian CPIs coming out. So this pair specifically could be an interesting one to watch today. At the moment, we are, like I said, testing the upper side of the range here. Can we get a clear push through it? Let's wait and see. But at the moment, like I said, yeah, I am just watching this, and I'm waiting to get like some sort of a better move here. If we remain in this range, I'm just going to remain neutral and just observe the price action. And finally, EURUSD. So EURUSD, we pushed above this barrier. I talked about this 0.9835. We stayed above it, and yeah, I'm still kind of aiming for the upside, to be honest. Although there is some weakness kicking in right now. Look, there is still potential for this one as long as we stay somewhere above this, either above the 0.9835, or the last resort here is the 21-day EMA. If we fall below it, then yes, I'll consider maybe a move lower. However, ideally, I would like to see a drop below this upside line right here in order to go lower, because basically inside that, maybe we could have this as well. So, you know, we could have this upside line drawn from the low of the 13th of October. So yeah, there's a lot of things to kind of consider here, but if we break above this if we break through this upside line, then maybe it could open the door towards lower levels, but then we have some support levels. So there's like this tricky moment, I would say, with the downside here. However, if you feel comfortable with that, you can take that, of course. Just like I said, always remember to have your stop loss in place. That's very, very important. So yeah, guys, that's kind of it. Like I said, overall, I'm still cautiously bullish on this from the very, very short-term perspective. I would like to aim for this downside line, but again, you know, let's see how the market plays out here. So yeah, guys, I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your views, your likes, guys, your comments when I get those. So really, really appreciate that. Thank you very much, guys. I hope you, like I said, you'll have a fantastic trading day today. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. See you tomorrow, as always, at my Traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, bye-bye.